I'm actually going to run out of decorations as well. So there's a couple of issues at the moment. Then we kill the next one. So we need 200 more subs today. No way does 200 knock it down. No, it died before 200, I'm pretty sure. There's no way it survives 200, right? There's no way. I don't believe it. I know trees are kind of cool and whatever, but I don't think it survives 200. Bottom right, aLive is our blue Terran player up against the red Terran to the top left. Time, aLive is going to open with the proxy 2-Rax Reaper here. So 2-Rax Reaper, it's a good build to... It's funny because you don't need to get a lot done to actually put yourself into a transitional position. You only need a few workers, and you know, missing out a Rax at home isn't that bad, especially when you have a good few Reapers out to help you as well. So honestly, a couple of Rax here. Let's see what aLive can do with them and see if he can put himself into a nice little position. Again, if aLive wins this series, he will be going head-to-head with Beyond to determine who advances through the group in first place. So it's actually kind of an important game that we've got going on here to get us started at the moment. Hey guys, again, if you are enjoying the stream, I would like to point out that this is an event put on by myself and TvT. So if you are enjoying every sub, every donation, every few bits, are going towards recuperating the prize pool for this, so that we can put on another one of these tournaments as soon as possible, basically. So we are trying to do that. If you want to support, it is greatly appreciated and it goes a long way. Alright, let's watch these first two Reapers coming forwards here. As time, we'll have to get into defensive mode. Doesn't know what's up at the moment, has not decided to scout just yet. So he doesn't know what's coming in at the moment. As the first two Reapers do arrive, the first Reaper of his pulls back pretty quickly, so getting out of trouble here without too much issue. Fighting away, first SCV or so starting to go down, a couple SCVs down, now a third Reaper shows up. And this Reaper's just going to hang out on the low ground for a couple of moments here, so a moment or two before this continues, but in general the setup from time is pretty good to kind of get into the next stage of this. By the way, as well, there was some discussion about time, and if he goes 0-2 here, there will be a tiebreaker, and that's very true. It also means that if time either wins the series or wins a map, he will advance through this group in third place. That's the position we're in right now. Time, if he wins a map, can advance through this group still. So pretty exciting as we do see the Reapers backing away, a couple of Hellions and Reapers of his own. That's the big thing here. Time might have lost SCVs, but he never lost Reapers, which really allows him to keep on pushing aLive back and stopping aLive from ever really getting much more done here. And we see Time is now comfortable enough to expand on the low ground. Well, here we go. The Reapers come forwards. The Reaper goes down on each side of this. And you can see with 3 Hellions, it really feels like this should be enough, but a lot of the time I do underestimate the Reapers. As you see a little bit of back and forth action. Another Reaper goes down on each side again. Hellion goes down for a Reaper. I mean, Time's completely fine with this as long as he's getting rid of Reapers while he trades out his units. And that's exactly what's happening. And maybe that Reaper should have tried to pick off that SCV, as aLive will lose all of his Reapers here. A 4-worker lead from aLive, but he has not started his expansion yet. His starport just now finishing. He will go Macfield Accelerator, and he will be looking to use these Cyclones aggressively in the near future. I mean, Time at the same time with a Cyclone of his own, but no Macfield. He's got a Viking up and going into a Liberator here to get this going. Cyclone popping out, locks right onto that barracks, so already starting to deal some damage here as it's pushed away over to the left-hand side. That Viking coming over as well. Again, SCV down on the low ground, just getting that command center finished up. Again, Macfield Accelerator still coming through, about halfway done. A couple of extra racks coming down now as well. Stimpack gets started too, so aLive is already thinking about a transition through here. And in towards his bio players. We do see that lock on, and boom, Hellion gets blown up. And now Time just hanging around with a Reaper out in the center. Gonna come back around over to the right-hand side. And to the south, this Liberator is finally going to get into trying to deny some mining, but a Viking already here, so probably won't get that many SCVs, or maybe 1 or 2 max. Maybe a bit of lost mining time as units will pull away. If Time sees this Viking ASAP, he'll just siege as soon as he can. Again, most importantly here is just getting these SCVs to pull away or getting some damage done. He's actually going to get, what, 4 workers? So that's actually very good for the Liberator that originally, I mean, he flew right into a Viking, right? Liberators are fairly tanky at least, so do survive a little while here nonetheless. As you see 2 Cyclones starting to move out just a little bit. Raven on the way up from Time now as well. Again, Time had a great performance this year. Top 4 in WCS Montreal, of course. So, that's pretty awesome as we do see the Cyclone lock on there. Then again, aLive does have Magfield, which is a pretty big deal. He's going to run up this ramp, and the Siege Tank will fire to kill another Cyclone, though. So, aLive taking some hits here. A couple of Cyclones escaping out around the top side now. There's a couple of Cyclones in the Viking. Going to think about maybe jumping up in towards the main base. There's the 2 tanks sieging up from Time to try and defend his natural expansion. +1 attack, stim back. Both of these coming through. There's the extra couple of barracks coming down in the main. And that singular Marine coming across towards the upper left. More Marines gathering together. Cyclones joining up as well. And again, just going to be seeing a couple of SCVs just continue to repair up the Cyclones here. Again, I like aLive's position. I like that Magfield. I feel like he did quite a fair amount. Yes, a couple of tanks from Time have been doing a good job defending as well, though. Time does have a Raven on his side also. But aLive already has Stimpack. Combat Shield started. So when it comes to Bio versus Bio, aLive has a big advantage here. Big advantage. Rex drops down onto that reactor. A couple of Marines will start up. The Viking and the Raven flying around overhead. And we are going to be seeing another Marine and a couple of tanks on its way too. aLive going to go dropping across the top side while he moves the Cyclones around the south, trying to pull whatever he can out of position most likely. This SCV hides away. It will be the first sign of this drop. Actually, it's too far away, so it'll be this depot that sees it first. There's a few units moving out towards the third base, obviously out of position for the drop coming in. So here we go from aLive, trying to get some damage done here as he drops into the back of the mineral line. Tank sieges up. He has Stim, remember, so he can do a lot with these Marines. The Stim is still not done from Time. I mean, these Marines can just sit here, pick their way through reactors. Very kind of low health, yet expensive and time-consuming to build. He's doing pretty good so far. That tank is an interference matrix will start to be targeted down. aLive will come in to try and protect it, and he will do a good job of keeping it alive for the most part, but eventually goes down. There's one tank siege up in the distance, makes it difficult for him to really commit in, but he gets another siege tank too. This drop is finding huge amounts of value, and now he'll drop down to the low ground where, well, this third CC is not going to be allowed to come up at all. That's a cancel. Now, aLive doesn't have a third CC of his own, so very nice to cancel that. We'll keep him in an equal position in terms of third base timing for the moment. I mean, Time rebuilds it instantly. Don't think aLive has any intentions of rebuilding or anything like that. I think he wants to get across the map and win a game right now. A couple of Cyclones dropping into the main. He's going to lock onto, with Magfield accelerated, the combat shields. That tech lab goes down, and that is combat shields completely denied here. As we see the other 2 Cyclones locking on again, this time for a tank. Loses vision. He actually had a lock on onto a Marine as well. If they were both on that tank, it might have gone down very quickly. Again, Marines, tanks starting to move forwards here. This command center at the front. Going to try and see what it can do, as we are going to be seeing aLive continue to press forwards. Tanks will siege, and a big stim there as he runs all the way in. One tank goes down, the other tank goes down. It costs aLive a lot of Marines, but at the same time, he's just going to kill all the SCVs anyways. He still has Marines and tanks left over. aLive takes game 1, and he puts us 1. No, of course not. The playoffs are going to be on playoff day. We've already casted 8 best of 3. This is our 9th best of 3 of the day. If we did playoffs after this, that would just be absolutely bonkers. Up a game to the top right-hand side, looking to keep himself in contention for top of this group. Our blue Terran player is aLive. He wins this, he beats Beyond, he is 4-0 through in first place. Bottom left-hand side, if he loses this map, we will have a 3-way tiebreaker for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Our red Terran is Time. Wardy wants to stay up until 6 AM casting playoffs. I would not mind staying around casting all day today. In fact, I am going to be casting on Base Trade TV in 2 hours, 3 hours. I feel like we're starting later than usual for whatever reason. It doesn't really make sense to me. I have no idea. But, yeah, we're going to be casting on Base Trade in a couple of hours or so. I want to cast for a good portion of time until then. But I actually just don't know if I have anything extra to cast beyond the matches that were from today. I don't know if I have any replays kind of lying around or anything, so as much fun as we're having, we might just have to pass on the love to somebody else, unfortunately. But we've at least got this series to wrap up, and then we've got Beyond vs. aLive as well. I mean, maybe it'll do me good to have a couple hours break before I cast on base trade. Anyways, let's see how this goes. Marbles, we could maybe do a little bit of marbles. Cast marbles while waiting. I mean, I'd also like to go and get some food, maybe. Would that be allowed? I don't know. I'm going to see what the time's like. I mean, we don't know how long this series is going to be, and Beyond aLive, honestly, they seem to be the best players in the group so far. Their series could really create some drama as well, perhaps, rather than, well, you know, what we've had so far, which has just been 2 zeros all the way through. Alright, so Rax coming down to the bottom side of the map. I'm just going to check we didn't miss anything. No, we didn't. So I actually only have 1 Schleier's sub, so 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 more decorations to get written out. Casting is my food. Eat the tree. Ay, ay, ay. Hellion and a couple of Reapers start heading towards the top right-hand side. We do see Macfield Accelerator coming up on this factory. Cyclone note from aLive is already out, and boom, and aLive Hellion gets taken down. So Macfield again just crossing over that halfway marker in terms of production, and Starport dropping down here from aLive as well. So also getting this up and running here at the moment, as this Reaper will go down to the bottom left-hand side. So again, time getting this rolling, as we do see this barracks from aLive also come into the bottom left-hand corner. This command center about to finish up on the natural expansion. And as the command center finishes up, well, let's see what's going to be done about it. Both players expanding at a pretty similar time. The Cyclone is the one thing that might be difficult to push back, and the Cyclone is not ready just yet from time. In fact, he's going for a siege tank here, so Rax given the high ground vision as the Cyclone tries to get some damage done. A second Cyclone showing up, locking onto an SCV or two here, so a couple of quick kills. And, well, again, just going to turn around and get a couple more shots off. That's actually 4 SCVs killed here, so time's actually taking quite a lot of damage. aLive falling a little bit behind from this then. Siege tank, another one on the way up. The first one now really will hold this ramp, so difficult for aLive to do much more, difficult for him to lock onto anything at the moment. Banshee and Cloak currently coming through from aLive on this starport, so getting the Cloak Banshees up and running as well. And Marine gets taken down off to the side. A few Marines here from time, poking their way through this barracks, and continue to deal some damage there. And we're going to be seeing another siege tank from time coming down to the low ground and getting set up. And Marines just fighting their way through this rack, so again, just going to be pushing this away up the left-hand side of the map, and it does take quite a little bit of damage there. Cyclones are heading back towards the upper right also, as we do see the armory dropping down from aLive in the back of the natural. The command center drops down, third CC coming up. Well, time is definitely going to have to become the aggressor. Now, you will have the faster stim pack. Well, he's actually going to be playing bio against mech, so obviously you'll have a faster stim pack. I'm interested then, because I wonder if there is some potential to do damage, because he does have a higher tank count. Time has been building up the tanks from the earlier stage of the game, and so there is some possibility with a Raven as well. There's a real possibility for him to get across and to maybe deal some damage. A few Marines and a Raven here currently hanging out off over to the left. We see this Banshee from aLive also coming to the far left-hand side too, and will move its way down towards the main base very shortly. +1 vehicle weapons on its way up here in the natural. As we'll see factories swapping over, dropping down on different add-ons. Again, aLive very much so still just in a setup phase of the game at the moment. Couple of rocks getting taken down there against him. Back still coming through, +1 attack. Everything you'd expect. In time, he's still only on 2 bases, so he's going to have to win with a 2-base push against mech. His Raven is going to be so important. You see this Banshee coming in to try and cause some disruption already. But his Raven is going to be so important. It's kind of crazy just how much that's going to have to try and get done here, basically. You see that Raven moving around the side and going back over. We see this Banshee coming down as well, and it is going to kill off a couple of these SCVs. Marine going down, and again, just getting some decent damage done throughout this. Marines will stem forwards, though, and are going to be able to push that Banshee back, loses detection of it for a moment there. There's the Marines starting to go across with the siege tanks again. That's the push that's going to try and win time this game. Again, no third CC. I just can't. It's going to be tough. I mean, the one thing you could look at is that aLive is greedy enough to take the third base so early here. Without his opponent having the third base, there's no reason for aLive to actually take the third base location this fast. All it's going to do is stretch him out and make him, really kind of drawn in very thinly here. And we do see scans coming down, Cyclones and tanks moving back a little bit, Marines stimming forwards. We do see a couple of Hellions, Cyclones taking some damage, tanks under fire as well. Tanks continuing to fire, as we're going to be seeing the, tanks hit by that interference matrix. That is hurting. As we are going to see this tank picked off as well. So tanks taken down. And as we do see Time able to pull around over the left-hand side. Banshee here from aLive, working its way through a refinery. A couple of Marines going to stim over and are going to be able to push that Banshee back. Liberator's going to come around towards the main base. I mean, this fight was kind of interesting so far. Still a couple of tanks up from Time. He's still got some Marines to work with. Again, he's trying to stop this from going to tiebreakers here today by taking a single map. That's all it takes. A single map will stop the tiebreakers. We'll see Liberator sieges up in the main. That's going to be some mining time lost then at least. Oh, another Liberator coming through. He's going to stim in for this first siege tank again. Spreading yourself across the three bases is maybe starting to cost our Blue Terran player aLive a little bit here. He's going to be, lifts up just before that tank fires. Good decision. Liberator is dealt with in the main. You have a Liberator at the front, gets dealt with too, and aLive. And he's going to push Time back, who is still desperately rallying units across the map. Time is up 15 army supply because he's down by 16 workers because, need I say it one more time, there is no third CC for our bio player here. So, again, this is becoming do or die very quickly from Time. He loads up another few units and will now start coming across towards the main base, getting ready to go. So here we go, Medivacs boosting forwards, and they're just going to go drop straight into the main on top of a siege tank that pops out. Obviously these tanks will siege as well, and this is, two tanks popped out here. Wow, this is bad because now the Vikings get taken down as well, and aLive doesn't have anything in position. He's going to lose his production, so suddenly aLive can't actually build anything else. A couple of Hellbats pop out, but they're going to go down pretty swiftly too. All of these factories getting taken down at the moment. Is just going to be seeing these Marines continuing to fight, and this is truly not a pretty situation, as we're going to be seeing Marines continue to kind of stem just away from this. Another few SCVs going down. Okay, didn't get that final factory, so one structure of production is kept alive here. Across the map, the third CC delayed by the fact this Banshee shows up, but he will keep it alive. Oh, another drop in towards the third base. As Time might be about to do this, guys. Again, a single map win is all it's going to take him, and Time gets it! Game 3 of aLive in Time. Let's kick this off. It's 1-1 tied up. To the top left-hand side, our Red Terran player is aLive, and to the bottom right, our Blue Terran is Time. Yeah, guys, these games are now replays. What we do is we play 5 matches. We play 5 sets of matches, so we play 2 matches at a time. We cast 5 live. Today we actually casted 7 series live because of the order and certain matches finishing earlier. So it was only the last series, this series, and the next series that are being played from replay. They were played less than 2 hours ago. They were played while the other games of this tournament were being played. It not only helps us, players kind of giving up, thinking that they're already out because of other results. It also means the players can play their 2.5 or 3 hours of matches, and then they're done, while we still get a 5 to 6 hour stream because we're casting 10 best of 3s. Do I know the result of the replays? No. For me, it's completely spoiler free. I have no idea what the scores are. Proxy T-Rax versus Proxy T-Rax always gets a little bit crazy. And it's going to be tough. Again, aLive is fighting to win this game and to keep himself in a position where he could maybe be considered top of this group still. If he loses here, he could still get that. But it is going to be tough considering Bjorn has already gone 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. So kicking this off, a couple of racks going to drop down here. aLive will start up a Reaper, and an SCV from Time will start to head back. In fact, these SCVs might pass each other on the way home, and they may start to realize just what's going on here. In fact, I think they will. So these guys cross each other, and on his way back, Time is not quite going to see this. We'll see another SCV, which is pretty much confirmation. aLive does run past the racks, so he definitely knows what's going on. Now, a lot of the time, it's just about kind of getting as much mining as you can while you can. and then obviously trying to chase down your opponent's SCVs, killing them off ASAP. And the faster you kill them off, the more you mine, the more Reapers you get out. And that can actually make a difference here. As we are going to be seeing a couple of SCVs from aLive actually come across the map to help. First Reaper of time in the mineral line already. And a nice Reaper grenade. Reaper grenades are important because, again, you want to stop as much mining as possible. So just grenading and stopping, mining like that is actually a kind of big deal. You can see that aLive's putting more workers on gas. He has a lot of minerals. And by having a lot of minerals here, he knows that his main goal has got to be to keep mining gas. That's going to be so important. You can see time is stacking workers on gas too. They know that's going to be the limiting resource here. The more Reapers you get out, the better. What is interesting, though, is that aLive just has so many more minerals than his opponent. I actually don't really know why, in particular. Maybe there's just... I actually don't really know. We'll see these Reapers clean up, and we'll see what the situation is like. But aLive just has so much more money. I mean, it might just be the fact of how he built his setup. 18 SCVs lost to 20. So 19 to 20. I don't know, actually. aLive just has like 300 more minerals, though. Obviously, no Reapers lost on either side just yet. aLive spends some of that money now as he's going to queue up Marines out of these racks. Or another Reaper, actually. He must be queuing something up, though, because he just spent his money somewhere. Anyways, we get into this. As we are going to be seeing the... is it the extra supply depot? Is that really the difference? Oh my god, it actually is. I was trying to look for it, and that is it. It's the extra supply depot. Thank you, chat. You guys are my heroes. Wow, the extra supply depot... That's actually kind of a big deal. 100 extra minerals is like 2 more Marines. But even then, it's more than just the 2 more Marines, right? Like, this is 7 Reapers on 7 Reapers. I guess aLive also just had more mineral mining earlier because he has had... he's going to have 1 less Reaper, but he's going to have more Marines. So I guess that's about it. It's such a small difference, but it can make that difference. As these guys are not mining at the moment, their command centers are floating around the map. Time has actually brought his CC back into the main where there is a mule stopping him from mining any minerals. And Time, well, just lost one of his Reapers, so losing out there, that's a little bit of a shame. Time losing out a little bit, and with the Reaper count even, now it's going to come down to Marines. And again, that Reaper count goes the way of aLive at the moment. As you're going to see, aLive is able to land, and he's going to be able to defend this position too, which kind of puts the pressure on Time to get something done. He has to push into this and stop these mules from mining, otherwise that is obviously a major issue, as this one Marine over here is doing exactly that. And these mules mining is huge, obviously. You can see that now, as you can see the racks trying to cause some, absorbed shots. The Reaper grenade is going down, and aLive will attack back into this. I mean, again, Time is the one that has to make something happen. But that's all. Again, it all comes down to 1 depot difference, slightly different amount of mineral mining. Maybe aLive stacked his workers a bit better. It's those little tiny things that come into play in this very weird and very uncommon scenario. And, well, there you have it. I mean, again, we're going to be seeing 12 to 5 supply. There's just too much here from aLive, and that's how Time will not win the series. But again,